Hello friends, in our world many people from Africa and third world countries often come to Europe and America for safe haven. But many of them cannot afford to fly. Many have to hang on the landing gear of the plane with the possibility of freezing under the plane and falling to death. But can the people hanging on the landing gear really reach their destination? What happens to them when the landing gear hangs? Why do they freeze in the snow? Why do they fall from thousands of feet? Amazing Revel will answer your questions today. So let's get started. The American Federation Aviation Administration, or FAA, has listed 113 such incidents. All of these 113 people wanted a good life, and that is why this terrible decision was taken. All of them were boys and men and were under 30 years of age. They did this to escape their difficult life. But they forgot the dangers of falling from thousands of feet, including hypothermia, hypoxia, tetanus, awaited them. First, let's talk about hypothermia. When the plane climbs to an altitude of 33,000 feet, the temperature drops to minus 62 degrees Celsius, which causes hypothermia. It should be remembered that there is no thermal control in the landing gear of the aircraft. There is not much space. Also, oxygen levels and atmospheric pressure drop so much that any human lung would need an artificial pump to control it. Moreover, it takes time for the body to adapt to the cooling temperature. So climbers wait enough time to acclimatize to the temperature while climbing Mount Everest. But the people in the landing gear don't get that time, and they have only 8 to 9 hours in their hands. As a result, they will start experiencing hypoxia, dizziness, and physical weakness at the height of 22,000 feet. Your internal organs will lack enough oxygen to function properly. The result is that you will lose consciousness at 30,000 feet. A combination of hypothermia and hypoxia will attack you. Today, most people die at this time. Most of the time, people die while landing the plane. Because at this time, when the landing gear of the aircraft starts to descend, unconscious people cannot hold on to anything and then have to fall down from a great height. 76 of the 113 people we talked about initially lost their lives. That is, only 1 out of every 4 was alive. These are only the reports that have come forward. Only God knows how many hundreds of lives have been lost behind the eyes of people. It should also be known if one is able to reach any country successfully. But the Western countries will not allow them to live in that country, but they will be jailed. Later, however, you will be sent back to your home country. Because traveling like this is completely prohibited. Security is much tighter these days, so it is quite difficult to travel like this at this time. Well, what has happened is that someone has successfully gone to another country but has not been caught. Let us know one such incident. Simba Kubeka is a South African citizen. He was an orphan since birth. Even when he was 15, his adoptive mother died. He continues to fight for survival. He finds a good friend as he continues to struggle for food and clothing, whose name was Carlito. They became very good friends. One day, I saw a story in Quebec Flight magazine about a migrant hanging from the landing gear of a plane. Encouraged by the story, he calls his friend and sets out on his expedition, leaving only the essentials and burning everything else. They then boarded a landing gear bound for the UK, avoiding everyone's eyes. Then what happened to everyone else happened to them. They both faint together. After the demand came down, Kubeka was taken to the hospital where Carlito was found frozen to death. He was in the hospital for 6 months because his blood froze due to low temperature. When he regains consciousness, he realizes he can no longer move. But despite all this, he is happy enough to be alive. He was quite lucky because he was helped by another friend named Gabriel. Gabriel finds Quebec's newspaper. Gabriel initially cooperates with Quebec by buying some items, and for that he asked people for help. It must be remembered that something good happened to Quebeca because she was the lucky one among those hundreds. Not everyone is so lucky. For example, when arriving in the UK, the gear was opened before landing on a plane. and immediately the body of a person frozen in the ice started falling down from the landing gear. The person fell while taking a bath. The person taking a bath is very scared to see the dead body. The man refused to speak to the media, but one of his neighbors saw the body dressed. A bag of the deceased was found in that landing gear. In Africa or third world countries, it is easier to climb into landing gear than in developed countries. It is more difficult to escape from landing gear. More such incidents were caught on camera. For example, a 14-year-old African boy lost his life after climbing into the landing gear hoping to travel. A man also suffered a terrible fate after climbing into the landing gear of a plane bound for Japan. The person who took the photo didn't realize the scene was caught on camera. Later he got to see these scenes while printing out the picture. The picture was the headline of the newspaper at that time. Friends, today's video is so far. Like and subscribe if you like the video. May you be a member of our family. Have a nice day.